It has four quantities: T, how long the time period is; R, the rate of return or interest rate; present value; and the future value. If you know any three of them, you could solve for the fourth one. In fact, for this simple case, we could, for example, solve for R, or we could solve for T, where ln is the so-called natural logarithm, or log to the base e, and e being it has infinitely many number of digits. It's an irrational number. It's also known as Euler's constant. Just as an anecdote, why are we calling that ln instead of nl? Anyone? Anyone knows why that's the case? Because natural logarithm was invented by a Swiss mathematician of French descent. And if you know anything about Romance languages, or in general Celtic languages, adjectives follow the noun instead of the other way around. So in French, that would be logarithma naturel, hence ln. And we can make all these calculations. We're going to actually implement this in Excel. Uh, but the kinds of stuff I'm going to show you today are valid for other stuff. For example, next Tuesday, we're going to talk about how to deal with multiple cash flows. One example is annuities. Anybody knows what an annuity is? Have you heard about it before? What do you think they are? No. An annuity is a level set of cash flows for a fixed period of time. By level, we mean same. Anybody has a car loan here? So somebody's actually financing your car. You pay the same amount every month, right? That's what an annuity is. The payments are exactly the same for a fixed period of time. Similarly, a mortgage would be an annuity. Uh, we're gonna talk about it, but present value of an annuity, it's an ugly formula where $C is periodic payments and $B is a balloon payment. This would be a lot more complicated. For example, you could not obtain an exact formula for T or R in this equation. That doesn't mean there's no solution. There is. But you cannot obtain it as a formula based on functions we know. Adding, subtracting, exponentiation, or logs, or stuff like that. So let's go ahead and start with Excel. And I'm going to be kind of civilized. I'm going to do, technically, I have four different ways of solving for future value, present value, time, and interest rate. But I'm going to implement only one of them and use the properties of Excel to figure out what the other things should be. Or you can do 4 different templates. However, you like it. I kind of like it simple ways. So what are my inputs? I have this nasty habit of using colors to kind of designate the nature of cells. These 3 are inputs, so I'm going to give them a background color that is somewhat lightish green. To me, the idea being I have the green light to enter stuff in there because they're inputs. And I'm going to make the background of the output black. Its font white, and I'm going to make that bold. And I'll make the font of this. Oops. Actually, I'll make it a little bit dark green and the font yellow. And I also like formatting my cells, especially for numbers. Formatting does not change anything internally, but you can view an Excel sheet as a way to communicate with the user. Okay, either the viewer in this case, or if somebody else is going to use it sometime later, you don't have to tell them separately that, oh, by the way, present value is some sort of money amount. Well, to make that money, I'm going to go to the Home tab. Right over in the middle, there are these little icons. Okay, these are shortcuts to certain number formats. If I hit dollar, that's just money format. So what have you. By default, it has only 2 digits after the decimal points. If you want more or less, you can handle that. Right here, the left arrow increases the decimals or digits after the decimal. Right arrow decreases it. So if you don't want to worry about the cents, that's where it is. Or every once in a while, oops, something happened there. What are those hashtags? Anyone knows? Huh? It's not an error. Yeah, the column is not wide enough to fit the number given the formatting. You can either, if you go up to the column heading, as you see, the cursor changes color and nature. You can move it around. Or if you want to let Excel figure out automatically, double click there, it fits it automatically. Okay. Either way, it works. The interest rate is percentage. Uh, Quite a bit of you have issues with converting percentages into proper decimals and vice versa. That is not necessarily a useful skill if you have a civilized way of dealing with that. And in Excel, we have a format. It's called the percent format. You click on that. By default, there are no digits after the decimal, but I like 3 digits, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And once a cell is in percent format, you don't have to ever think about the decimal expression. For example, who's going to tell me the decimal expression for 0.25%? See, you're thinking about it. Why? You don't need to. I mean, it is 0.0025. You don't have to think about it. All you have to do is write 0.25. It puts the percent automatically. Internally, it keeps it as a decimal.